Hello everyone, this is Nikhila Tippanawat from Arihant College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Baudhan, Pune. Today we are going to learn about coordination compounds. In last video, we have seen IUPAC nomenclature of coordination compounds and different types of isomerism in coordination compounds. Today we are going to learn stability of coordination compounds and the factors responsible for stability of coordination compounds. We are going to learn the theories of bonding in complexes. We will see valence bond theory in this video and crystal field theory in next video. So we will start with stability of the coordination compounds. The stability of coordination compounds can be explained by knowing their stability constant. The stability is governed by metal-ligand interactions. In this, the metal serves as electron pair acceptor, while the ligand as Lewis base, that is electron pair donor. The metal-ligand interaction can be realized as the Lewis acid and Lewis base interaction. Stronger the interaction, greater will be the stability of that complex. So, let's revise. The stability of coordination compounds in solution is considered by taking into account the stability constant. The thermodynamic stability of complex depends upon the extent of interaction between the metal ion and ligand. If the interaction is strong, the complex form would be thermodynamically more stable. Reaction between metal ion and ligand can be regarded as Lewis acid-base reaction. Metal ion acts as an acceptor of electron density from the ligand, and ligand is the donor of electron density. Lewis acid is an electron pair acceptor, hence the metal will be Lewis acid, and Lewis base is an electron pair donor, so the ligand will be the Lewis base. Suppose metal ion M having charge A plus interacts with ligand having charge X minus to form a complex MLN A plus plus NX minus. Here N is the number of ligands and A, X, A plus plus NX minus denote the charge on the metal, ligand and the complex. So A plus is the charge on the metal ion, X minus is the charge on ligand, and in product we have added both the charges A plus plus NX minus. Now the equilibrium constant K is given by K is equal to the product MLN A plus plus NX minus upon the reactants M A plus plus LX minus N. Stability of the complex can be explained in terms of K. Higher the value of K, larger is the thermodynamic stability of that complex. The stability constant is an important parameter of complex. It may be used to express the thermodynamic stability of complex because it is an indication of the stability of that complex in a solution. Higher the stability constant, greater the thermodynamic stability of this complex. See these reactions, the equilibrium for the complex formation with the corresponding K values are given below. So look at this first reaction Ag plus plus 2Cl minus giving AgCN2 minus. Stability constant K is 5.5 into 10 raised to 18. Next reaction copper 2 plus plus 4Cl minus giving CuCN4 2 minus, and the stability constant is 2.0 into 10 raised to 27. Now for next reaction cobalt 3 plus plus 6NH3 giving cobalt NH3 3 plus, the stability constant is 5.0 into 10 raised to 33. From the above data, as we can see, the stability constant is higher for cobalt NH3 3 plus So it is more stable than AgCN2- and CuCN4-2-. Now we will see the factors which govern stability of the complex. The stability of complex is governed by charge to size ratio of the metal ion and nature of the ligand. So first we will see charge to size ratio of the metal ion. Higher the ratio, greater is the stability. For the divalent metal ion complexes, their stability shows the following trend. Copper 2 plus is having more stability than Ni2 plus, then cobalt 2 plus, then Fe2 plus, then manganese 2 plus, and then lastly cadmium 2 plus. So I will explain this. The stability of metal complex depends upon charge density on the metal ion, which in turn depends upon the magnitude of charge and radius of the ion. That is charge to radius ratio. Higher the magnitude of charge and smaller the size of the ion, more is the charge density on the metal ion and greater the stability of complex. So for example, the magnitude of positive charge on copper 2 plus and cadmium 2 plus ions is the same, it is plus 2, but the ionic radius of copper 2 plus ion is 69 pm is less than that of cadmium 2 plus ion, which is 97 pm picometer. Obviously, the charge density on copper 2 plus is greater than that of cadmium 2 plus ion. Because the former has higher charge to radius ratio, hence the complex formed by copper 2 plus ions are more stable than those of formed by cadmium 2 plus ion. Therefore, with the same ligand and the stability of complex formed by these ions follows the above order. So this is the order. The above stability order is called Irving-Williams order. Now we will see the nature of the ligand. A second factor that governs stability of the complex is related to how easily the ligand can donate its lone pair of electrons to the central metal ion. That is the basicity of ligand. The ligands, those are stronger bases, tend to form more stable complexes. For example, Cn- is more basic than NH3. Therefore, cyano-complexes of metal ion are more stable than its amine complex. Look at this stability constant, AgCN2-, it is given as 5.5 into 10 raised to 18, and for AgNH state wise, the stability constant value will be 1.6 into 10 raised to 7. So from this it is clear that as Ca- is more basic than NH3, the cyano complexes will be more stable as they are having greater value of stability constant. Theories of bonding in complexes. The metal-ligand bonding in coordination compounds has been described by valence bond theory and crystal field theory. In this video, we will see valence bond theory. The hybridized state is a theoretical state that describes how complexes are formed. Valence bond theory is based on the concept of hybridization. The hybrid orbitals neither exist nor can be detected spectroscopically. These orbitals, however, help us to describe structure of coordination compounds. The steps involved in describing bonding in coordination compounds using the valence bond theory are as follows. The metal ion provides vacant d orbital for formation of coordination bonds with ligands. The vacant d orbitals along with s and p orbitals of the metal ion take part in hybridization. The number of vacant hybrid orbitals formed is equal to number of ligand donor atoms surrounding the metal ion, which equals the coordination number of the metal. Overlap between the vacant hybrid orbitals of the metal and field orbitals of the ligand leads to formation of the metal-ligand coordinate bonds. The hybrid orbitals used by the metal ion point in the direction of the ligand. The n-1d or nd orbitals used in hybridization allow the complexes to be classified as outer orbital and inner orbital complexes. For hybridization, in the outer orbital complex nd orbital are used, whereas in the inner orbital complexes n-1d orbitals are used. The types of hybridization decides the structure of the complex. For example, when the hybridization is D2sp3, the structure will be octahedral. The following are the steps to understand the metal ligand bonding. First, find the oxidation state of central metal ion. Then write the valence shell electronic configuration of that metal ion. See whether the complex is low spin or high spin. From the number of ligands, find the number of metal ion orbitals required from bonding. Identify the orbitals of metal ion which are available for hybridization and the type of hybridization involved. Write the electronic configuration after hybridization. Show filling of orbitals after complex formation. And determine the number of unpaired electrons and predict the magnetic behavior of the complex. So here I have given the types of hybridization and the geometry of the complex. If it is sp hybridized, geometry will be linear. If it is sp2 hybridization, then the geometry will be triangular. For sp3 hybridization, the geometry will be tetrahedral. dsp2 hybridization, geometry will be square planar. For dsp3, it is trigonal bipyramidal. For D2sp3, it is octahedral, and for D3sp3, it is pentagonal bipyramidal. So we will see this one by one, how the type of hybridization determines the geometry of the complex. So we will see the octahedral complex first. The cobalt NH36 3+, it is the low spin complex. The oxidation state of cobalt is +3. The valence shell electronic configuration of cobalt-3 is represented in box diagram as shown below. So in 3d orbital, this is 4s and this is 4p. The number of amine ligands are 6. So vacant orbital or number of vacant metal orbitals required for bonding will be 6. As the complex is low spin, so pairing of electron will take place before the hybridization. So electronic configuration after pairing would be 3d, these are paired electrons, and so the vacant orbitals will be 2d orbitals, 1s and 3p orbitals are available for bonding. So total 6 orbitals are available for hybridization, 2 3d, 1 4s and 3 4p orbitals. The orbitals for hybridization are decided from the number of amine ligands. Remember this, which is 6. Here n-1d orbital participate in hybridization since it is low spin complex. So after complex formation, this will be the D2sp3 hybridized molecule. So as we can see, all electrons are paired, the complex will be diamagnetic. And this is the structure of that molecule, octahedral. So if it is D2sp3, the structure geometry of the complex will be octahedral. Now see the CO cobalt F6 3-, which is high spin complex. Now in this oxidation state of central metal, cobalt is +3. The valence shell electronic configuration, as we have seen earlier, it is 3d, 4s, 4p. The 6 fluoride F- ligands, thus the number of vacant metal ion orbitals required for bonding will be 6. Complex is high spin, that means pairing of electrons will not take place prior to hybridization. So as we have seen in earlier example, this is not possible in high spin complexes. The pairing will only occur in low spin complexes. So we have to have 6 orbitals for hybridization. So what will happen? The 4s and 4p are available. So two 4d orbitals will take part in the hybridization. So now the 4s, 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d orbitals will take part in hybridization. So this will be sp3d2. So remember, this is sp3d2 hybridization. The 6 metal orbitals after bonding with 6 fluorine ligands lead to sp3d2 hybridization. The d orbital participating in hybridization for this complex are nd. In last case it is n-1d. Now in this case it is nd. So 6 vacant sp3d2 hybrid orbitals of cobalt 3 plus overlap with 6 orbitals of fluoride forming cobalt and fluoride coordinate bonds. So this will be the configuration after complex formation. We can see this. The complex is octahedral. It has octahedral geometry and it has 4 unpaired electrons. See this. These are not paired electrons. So these are 4 unpaired electrons. Therefore, the complex is paramagnetic. The geometry of complex is octahedral. Now see the tetrahedral complexes. We will start with NiCl4 2-. Oxidation state of nickel is +2. The valence share electronic configuration of Ni2 plus, it is given as 3d, 4s and 4p. Now we will require the 4 orbitals, vacant orbitals for bonding, as the number of ligands is 4. So 4 orbitals on metal available for hybridization are 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbitals. Therefore the hybridization is sp3 hybridization and the geometry of complex will be tetrahedral. The 4 metal ion orbitals for bonding with Cl- ligands are derived from sp3 hybridization. These 4 vacant sp3 hybrid orbitals overlap with Ni2 plus and the configuration after complex formation will be, see this, 3d, 4s and 4p orbitals. Okay, so in this complex it has unpaired electron, so the complex will be paramagnetic. Okay, now see the complex which is square planar NiCN4 2-. Okay, so oxidation state of nickel, as you know, it is +2. The valence shell electronic configuration for nickel 2 plus, it is same, 3d, 4s, 4p. We will require 4 vacant orbitals as the number of Cn- ligands is 4. So we will require 4 vacant metal ion orbitals for bonding. The complex is square planar. So Ni2 plus ion uses dsp2 hybrid orbitals. Why it is so? Because it is the 3d or electrons, they get paired. So we will have one d orbital vacant, one 4s orbital and two 4p orbitals. So this is dsp2 type of hybridization. So the geometry of the complex will be different. Geometry of the complex will be square planar. The 4 vacant orbitals, that is dsp2 of Ni2 plus overlap with the 4 Cn- ligands, and this is the configuration after complex formation. And the complex, it does not have any unpaired electrons, so it will be diamagnetic. If it will have paired electrons, then it will be paramagnetic. So here there are no unpaired electrons, so it will be diamagnetic. Remember this. Now see the limitations of valence bond theory. What are the limitations? It does not explain the high spin or low spin and weak field nature of ligands and cannot be distinguished. It does not provide any explanation for the color of coordination compounds. The structure of the complexes predicted from valence bond theory would not always match necessarily with those determined from the experiments. To overcome this difficulty in valence bond theory, the crystal field theory has been proposed, which has been widely accepted. So, we will see the crystal field theory in next lecture. Thank you everyone.